Hello and welcome to Not One Right Way, the podcast. It's me, Melissa Manuel, she, her, and my co-host.
It's me, Marvin Walking Yaga, they, them, theirs.
How you doing, Mar?
Super good. Super good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I had a busy week at work trying to, I don't know, just get by because it's hard to focus when the world's on fire and just pretend like everything's normal. But, getting by.
Yeah. Definitely feeling some of that as well. And then on top of that, like, the students are back. So, like, last week, students were still on break, and I was just so, having to keep my eyes open. It's so mind-numbingly boring. And now there's things to do and people to meet, and it's good again. All is right in the world.
Nice.
Except for everything else,
The state of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we have to just keep doing our jobs while the gestures,
Yeah.
the climate. How are you coping with the climate through TV? What are you watching?
Great question. Just watched the Culinary Class Wars finale. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, it was pleasant.
Yes. When I leave this call, I'm going to be watching the next episode of The Pit.
The Pit.
Pit. Oh, so exciting. So exciting.
Lots of new faces in season 2. It's great. I'm excited to be stressed out every week.
Yes. Yes. One face that I have not seen that I really, really want to is the emergency department social worker. Absolute
I
favorite
know.
character. And she's not here yet.
Every 5 seconds, I'm like, call a social worker. There's a loose baby. Where's the social worker?
Right?
She was working so hard season 1. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. She did wonders for the social work crowd. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but
the representation.
The representation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always like, that could be Marv, but that seemed so stressful. I was really sweating for her.
So stressful. I'm glad that's not my job.
Yeah.
I just have all the easy cases at the university.
Yeah. For all the social workers working in hospitals, you're doing amazing. Shout out to you.
Yeah. Your strength of will, mental fortitude, unmatched.
Definitely. To balance the pit, I watched all of the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Destiny on Netflix yesterday. Very cute anime. Shout out to Quinby, previous guest, good friend. She recommended it to me. Very wow, what is young love? Just 2 cutesy teens being like, OMG, does he like me? OMG, does he like me? And then being so awkward and not sure how to do with their feelings and just being like, is this a date? This couldn't be a date. He couldn't possibly be on a date with me right now, even though they are clearly on a date at the aquarium. 10 out of 10. So cute.
Lovely. Love that for you.
It was the aquarium date we never got in K-pop Demon Hunters, Filled that hole in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it was so lovely, and the aesthetics were through the roof. I just loved looking at. It's been a while since I watched a little shoujo cutesy anime, and I just had a great time admiring all the cute outfits, and the art just has a very fun aesthetic.
Yeah.
And pivoting my beautiful segue into our guest today, they also have an amazing aesthetic. I love their art. Please welcome Angie Duran, a background designer and visitive artist. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. How are you doing?
Good. I am also going to be going to watch The Pit after this segment. I'm very excited, very nervous. The show makes me so The first episode too was just so fast. I was like, I need more. I didn't realize it was one episode. So when it ended, I was like, wait, there's not more? I need more.
Yeah.
I watched all of season 1 in one sitting, basically, and I was like, I can't believe I'm going to wait now.
I know.
I did watch.
I couldn't.
I
couldn't
did
do.
watch the first season as it was airing, and,
Yeah.
like, the wait for each episode, like, oh my gosh. There's so much tension in my body that I know, like, will be eased a little bit when we get the episode out and, like, I'll feel better, and then it'll
Yeah.
be right back to, like, the heart thumping, like, "Oh my god, there's so much like, going on right now,"
Yeah.
which is great.
I'm so nervous. I'm nervous for the child, the baby, nervous for all of them, like,
I
that
know.
man.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you talking about the man who has some sort of memory loss?
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm really afraid for, like, if they're gonna have to use the code words on him or something. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I immediately felt unsafe. Like, the doctor seemed unsafe, forget her
Yeah.
name, but she was, like, immediately went and called for help, and I was like, "I too feel unsafe, and I'm
Yeah.
not even in the room."
But he also feels so sad because it's like he's aware, that it's happening, and you can tell he's just so defeated by it, and it's like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
Um,
It's ugh, oh my gosh. And we're only 1 episode in. We're only 1 episode. Mara, would you like to start us off?
yes. And Angie, you listened to a couple of our episodes, so the lowdown. I'm a social worker. A lot of what I'm doing every day before I come home and watch The Pit is having difficult conversations with people, getting deep right off the bat, and asking some tough questions. So I got a tough question for you. I hope you're okay with it.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. What is your favorite part of nature? Your favorite thing in the natural world?
Oh, that's really is tough. There's so much to think about. I think definitely whenever I go out, especially on, like, hikes, I it's not necessarily, like, one specific thing. It's the moment when you reach the point of a hike that you've been, like, working to, and you get to just kind of marvel in it. I recently went out to, I think it's called Gled Park or Deb Park in Highland Park.
Mhm.
And it has just this really serene little pond area that everyone just kind of chills around. And I went with my friends, and after we were done, we all just kind of like chilled there for a bit. One of my friends was drawing. I was just kind of wandering around taking photos for like drawing later, but it was really nice. I also really like trees in nature and just seeing how they're all kind of different from each other. How like some can just be the very simple, straight and tall, but some are like this really warped and windy kind of look to them. So I like just staring at things when I'm in hikes and just taking it all in because sometimes I just get overstimulated. So just staring at nature is really helpful for me. So that's what I typically like when I'm out and about, touching grass.
Yeah, that's awesome. Such a beautiful, vivid moment. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
It's pleasant. Mara, what's your favorite thing in nature?
I love humans. I specifically, like, love babies. I think baby humans are the fucking coolest. Like, their brains are growing at an exponential rate that is unmatched at any other point in their lives, and that's fucking cool. It's my favorite thing in nature.
That's crazy. And to like the baby to just like be out and about and just getting new information too, it must be
Constantly, yeah.
wild for them.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, I hadn't considered, like, creatures as part of nature in your question, not just plants. So that's a fun way to look at it. You're right, we are part of nature.
Yeah.
Good answer. Go babies.
Go babies!
Win for the babies. A rare W for the babies.
For W. They're so helpless, but so powerful.
So
They're just
true.
trying to get through. They're just trying to grow. They're just like a little plant.
Yeah. I love it.
Melissa, favorite thing in nature?
I think I'm very much like you, Angie. I love trees. My favorite part is, like, lying down and looking up at trees, like, the, like,
Mm.
Kinda
The
like a
canopy.
crazy interconnection of all the branches and leaves. So pretty, very soothing to me. And, like, they look like a Spider-Verse kind of way. It's just like, that's what a galaxy is, but in a tree. I love that. Very soothing.
Mm.
And then I love food, so there's something there of, like, the natural I can't keep a plant alive, but gardens and those kind of things, like going in and seeing people grow food and where their food comes from, that to me is very beautiful. Even, like, our our meats and our chickens and that part of nature I love. It's like that cycle of life. Gotta appreciate it, because then I
Oh,
get to
yeah.
eat it, and it tastes so good.
Yeah.
That sounds so nice. My husband actually, we have a small patio in our front porch, and he grows vegetables there. So he has, like, all these kinds of tomatoes. He just grew some
Mhm.
Napa that he wants to turn into kimchi, which would be really
Yes.
fun. He's been watching a lot of tutorials, so I'm gonna just watch as he does that, and I'll cheer him on. But I
Amazing.
just get to, like, munch on the vegetables that he brings in from his little garden. Because sometimes there's too many mosquitoes out there. I don't wanna go out,
Mhm.
so I just let him go out and grab the vegetables, and I just stay inside.
As
Yeah.
yes, you should. Because I
Yes.
also don't like the bugs, but I do appreciate the people who know how to take this vegetable from the ground, and the fresher it is, obviously, the better. So I just think that's one of the best parts of nature of, like, you can grow your own fresh veggies and bring them in and create something beautiful. It's it's otherworldly to me.
Yeah.
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 I love food. Um,
It is great.
I love food, I love nature, I love quiet moments when we can contemplate our place in the world. Mm, lovely.
cat's being so loud right now. He's just having a scratching post right next to me.
We
I
can
love
all
my
hear
cat.
it.
Yeah. He's also part of nature. Boy.
Yes.
Now we're gonna pivot to the next part of our show where we learn more about you, Angie.
Oh, yay.
Would you mind sharing with us a little bit about your origins and if you knew that being an artist was something you wanted to do from a young age, or did you have a different path?
Yeah, I definitely, from probably day one, wanted to do art. I don't really know how it started, but once I started drawing, I enjoyed it a lot. I think it also didn't help that I was really bad at school. So I just was like, you know what? I think maybe art is my path. So I just kind of focused on that a lot when I was in like middle school. I used to make little manga comics with my friend. I had one friend who would write the stories, and then my other friend and I, we would both be drawing the panels together. We would do like different pages and we would make little comics all together. And for a long time I was like, I want to be a mangaka artist. Not really knowing anything about that, not a lick of Japanese or anything. Just a love for drawing shoujo manga, all that kind of stuff with my friends. Um,
Mm,
and eventually, I just kind of kept with it. I would take classes, continued on, even in high school. That was just my trajectory. I think my only other thought was if I didn't pursue art, I was probably leaning more towards like therapy, like becoming a therapist, because I really like talking and listening to people and just kind of hearing them out and trying to help them where I can. So it was between those, but again, not the best academically. So I leaned more into the art. And yeah, when I was in high school, just pursued that. I ended up going to Art Center in Pasadena, did about like 3.5 to 4 years, I think, of schooling. And then after that, I was just doing freelance work until I started my first gig over at Titmouse. I worked on a project that was like in connection with Cartoon Network called Mao Mao Legends of Pure Heart. It was a really cute project. And through there, I ended moving on to Nickelodeon, doing background design there before I had my first chance in feature, working at Netflix, which was really cool and just kind of cycled through. So I've worked at a couple of different studios. So now currently when I'm not working or even when I am working, I also teach back at Art Center and I teach classes there as well. So yeah, that's my general trajectory and where I am right now.
That's awesome. How did how was your experience going to ArtCenter? I actually live in Pasadena now, so that's pretty cool. What what did you enjoy from the program? Because it's not like one of the big, fancy art schools. What were your favorite parts of going to a smaller school?
I think Art Center is actually a pretty big school. Um,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
it's like I would say Art Center and CalArts are probably some of the bigger ones within like LA area, but it was definitely stressful coming from like high school. The only drawing experience I had was on one of those like small Wacom tablets. I think they were maybe like 7 inches or so,
Mhm.
where it just like plugged in and you have to draw on the tablet and kind of like look at both sides besides like using a mouse. And so I was learning while I was starting there. And it was definitely such an eye opening experience coming from doing more traditional work to get into the school to then pivoting to more digital work because that's what the industry kind of needs. And I had so many great experience meeting friends and the teachers that taught me there. So it was really wonderful. Also incredibly stressful just with the deadlines and the amount of work that we kind of go through. They really push you to it's if anything they say you work harder at the school to prepare you for like the job because the job is actually a little bit easier than the schooling, but they definitely helped prepare me to go into the workforce a little bit quicker and with a little bit more confidence for sure. But yeah, it was a really fun time. I made a lot of great friends there and learned a lot. So I really enjoyed my time there.
I saw your one of your projects, the one it's called Situ sorry,
Oh,
El
Castillo?
Chipito?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that project like? Was that your, like, senior thesis?
Yeah. So that was my graduation portfolio like project. Around the end of the term, you kind of have to start thinking about what your like big project's going to be. Typically, we put it up as like a big gallery display where everyone who's graduating gets a part of a wall and we display our like big final project or all the work that we've done that we're proud of most. And so I'm half Taiwanese, half Salvadorian. So I wanted to kind of go into more of my roots and try to look into folk tales to turn into kind of like these feature projects to kind of help me get my foot in the door and show people like how I can take a folk tale and bring it into something that could be seen in a movie or anything like that. And so a lot of the projects at the time, like a lot of students lean more Asian. So a lot of their projects were more based on like more Asian folk tales and stories. So I wanted to go more towards like my father's side. And I got a chance to go with him to El Salvador and like visit around more of the kind of traditional indigenous kind of spaces and just kind of do more research, take a lot of photos there, learn a little bit more about the character, and get to just take lots of fun reference photos and also just spend some time with my dad out there and some of my other family members. And yeah, and so then for that project, I went back and I tried to think of the story. And so, like, this character, he's kind of like a bastard child. And in the actual story, his legs are actually backwards and he flies around on a giant gourd. And so obviously the backwards legs probably not the easiest thing for like a children's movie or something like that. So I put it back the other way and I kind of set it more in the indigenous times and wanted it to be like the Nuat culture that they have there and just this little girl who meets this like fairy tale character in the woods. And then there is another kind of creature who's kind of his mom who kind of tempts people. And so basically she's stealing all the men from the village. And so these characters go and try to save like the little girl's dad who's being taken by this like big womanly like creature. So that was like the basis for the story. So with my project, I kind of made two versions of it because around that time I was learning about the TV side of the industry and I'd never really heard about the TV side. It was mainly biz dev. There were a lot of like toxic mindsets where it was viz dev or nothing. I had a friend who he turned in his homework and one of the teachers, and his work was beautiful, but it didn't match the typical viz dev look. And the teacher was basically like, Starbucks is always hiring. And like a crazy, a
What?
crazy comment. Yeah, and his work, I loved his work. I admired it so much. And so when I heard that, I was like, that's wild. But yeah, so there's this toxic mindset of if you can't make it as a biz dev artist, then there's no point. And it wasn't until I took a class where it showed me the breakdown of the industry, I got to learn more about background designing and how there is work more specific, especially in TV. And I really leaned towards compositional design and making environments. So I started leaning towards that more. So within this project and my graduation project in general, I actually made two versions of it, one that was TV oriented and one that was feature oriented, so that when recruiters would come by at the end, I would give them each a different tiny, like saddle stitch portfolio that I made. And so that it was very specific to whoever was hiring or like what company they were from. But yeah, it was really nice. I got to make a whole cute wall. I did some little folk art drawings on the wall that were representative of like the Salvadorian folk art. And yeah, it was a really great project. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I loved
Amazing.
looking at the bits that you had on your website. It was so cute, and I just like you mentioned, a lot of projects don't feature Latina folklore and, highlight it as much, so that really
Mhm.
spoke to me as I wish I could see, like, a full version, like, animated of in your style because it was so sweet.
I got to go back to that, I think. Rework it
Yeah,
some more.
it's super cute. I'd pay money if I was a billionaire, I'd fund
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Well, let me know. Hit me up when you are.
Yeah, when I
We can
make
get
it
something
big,
started.
when I'm a hot shot producer, I'll be like, "People bought Angie."
We need LA to do more funds for the arts. We need them to give a little back.
I know. I wish it was like the European style where the government sets aside funding for
Yeah.
this type of stuff.
I only
That'd be
recently
nice.
learned about that, and I was like, "That's amazing. Why can't we have that?"
Yeah, if
Yeah.
only.
Why can't
Um,
we pay for people to do good art just, like, as part of, like, the cultural of our national image and
Yeah.
understanding that it's part of it's the foundation I mean
Yeah. I
yeah,
need I need universal healthcare, and I need government funding the arts. Those are
yeah,
what I need.
and, like, that's what PBS was doing, and then okay, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
I'm interested that you created 2 portfolios, one that
Mhm.
was TV and feature oriented.
Yeah.
Is that how you got some of your freelance work and eventually was hired at Titmouse for your first work?
No. My freelance journey was a little bit of a journey upwards. So with that, I find a lot of art companies at the time were definitely looking for like painters. And so while I was in school, while I really enjoyed my time there, I was also very anxious about like how good everybody was. And so when I found like so painting for me was a little daunting at the beginning, and I that's what got eventually gravitated me more towards composition and design. And so when I graduated, a lot of companies were actually looking for background painters, and so I would freelance or like test freelance for a lot of these projects. We're looking for painters, and I just wasn't as confident in my paint, and I had a lot of rejections from these places. And so I finally decided, like after I'd graduated and I had a couple of these rejections, I was like, I'm going to try to just paint. I'm going to try to do digital painting and just get better about it and just see where that gets me because clearly I need to change something. So I started doing these small studies based off of photos. When I would drive around, I'd just take a little photo and I'd do a little study, and eventually, once I felt confident enough, I started posting them. And I posted maybe three, and I got reached out to by an old teacher who I'd never actually talked to. I think I talked to him once. His name is Kang Lee, and he was the director, like the art director on Mao Mao. And so he saw my work that I was posting, and he was like, "Hey, the work you're doing actually seems like it would match what we're doing here. Would you want to be hired on as a background painter. And in my head, originally, when I just saw the text, I was like, I don't feel confident yet. Like, I just started doing these little practices. I don't know if I could do another like tests. I'd just be so in my head. But then he showed me a little bit of samples of the art, and it had this really fun graphicness and like Ghibli-esque painting style to it. And I was like, well, I'd be a fool to just pass on that. So I ended up taking the job, and I basically learned on the job all these different techniques. I definitely had a lot of imposter syndrome as
Mm.
it was the first time I had a job, and it was my first time background painting on a job. So it was just like 2 moments of just being like a shaking little puppy. And then but they were just so nice. The art director and the lead background painter, they were so nice to me. They felt very much like big brotherly after a while, and they just guided me through everything, and it was really great. I got to ask a lot of questions and just learn as I went, and there are techniques that I take with me even to this day. So I really enjoyed that. So that was how I kind of got there with, like, my first job.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really nice that you were able to post something online and actually reach someone and they took a chance on you. A lot of
Yeah.
times it is someone taking a chance on you. And I think it was very brave of you to believe in yourself and be like, even though I don't feel ready, I'm going to take this opportunity. And I'm glad you did because you've
Yeah.
continued to do such beautiful work.
Oh, thank you. Means a lot.
Yeah. So, what was it like working on Mao Mao? I think that show's kind of like a cult classic. People love it and were devastated when it didn't get renewed. I know you mentioned you learned a lot in that experience. You got mentored, but working on backgrounds there, do you have any favorite memories?
Oh, I think it was just this like quickness that I had to learn everything so quickly with it. I think like the memory I enjoyed was just that first time job and getting to learn and grow. And the fact that when I did enter the industry, like you said, it's like it is kind of rare nowadays also to start so green or to have art directors who are willing to hire people with not a lot of experience in that way. And so it was just a really nice experience in that sense where I got to learn
Mm.
fully and I had people teaching me versus the current industry where it's like we need someone who's ready to go and we have 6-month deadline and it's like
Mhm.
fast. And like so it was definitely a great experience of just being able to kind of take my time and learn versus the shorter production periods that we have nowadays.
Yes.
um, but yeah, and just like having lunches with the crew, I got to have like hot pot with the lead and the art director a lot. And we would just like swap stories because we're all kind of like from the Walnut Roland Height area. So it was like really nice to be like, oh, I'm from there and be like, oh, I live there. And it was just like it was really nice that moment. I miss it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forming community, that's always important when you start in work, finding your people.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And then how did you pivot to finding your next role after Momo?
So I forgot to mention, but after I graduated, I think it was before Mao Mao. I'm kind of mixing up my dates, but I actually got a chance to work as a intern at Nickelodeon. Um,
Mhm.
I had gotten it deferred, so not in the year I graduated, but it got pushed to the next year. So after I graduated, I started interning over at Nickelodeon in the recruitment section. And so because of that, I got to learn a lot of the ins and outs at the time. Obviously, it's different now of like what studios kind of looked for, especially Nickelodeon in like portfolios and for both artists and writers. I would like be the one to send in the email being like, thank you for applying and all that kind of stuff. And I got to learn a lot from my leads and I still love hanging out with them to this day. And while I was there, I kind of would poke around the different floors because I had made friends with some of the other interns who were doing production assistant work on those projects. And I would just kind of learn from them. And there was a show called The Loud House happening like on the same floor. And so I would go over and I would talk to the team there. And I made friends with the storyboard artist over there at the time. His name is Miguel Puga. And he was so nice. He was the one who actually told me about a project that was coming up later on called the Casagrandes. that is a spin-off from The Loud House that follows the character Ronnie Ann, who's kind of like the main character in The Loud House. It's like girlfriend, kind of like friend. So it follows her family, but it wasn't going to be starting for another year or so. So I would kind of just like sow the seeds. I was like making friends, chatting with everybody. And eventually, when my time came, I let the production team know and the producers know. I was like, hey, I'd love to be considered when you guys start testing. It'd mean a lot if I can test for that. And because I had my project, the CPTO project, it was a good kind of lean in for me at the time because it was this time where thankfully a lot of like Latino based projects were being greenlit. It was like coming off the ends of like Coco and all of that and having such a good presence. So that's why the Casagrandes, I feel like, had more push to get greenlit. So having my CPTO project put me in a pretty good like area to show them like I can work on these kinds of stories. But again, it wasn't going to be happening for a year. And so in the meantime, that's when I was doing all the freelancing and like getting rejected from other freelancing, questioning where I am in life. Um, and then I got Mao Mao. And then in between that, once I finished with Mao Mao, really nicely lined up with the testing of the Casagrandes. And I got to work with the art director, Miguel Gonzalez. And he was kind of mentoring me a little bit through the testing because they seemed really eager to have me on the project as a background designer. So that was another like just really wonderful experience again of being a new artist. I got to do some background designs before my time ended on Mao Mao, but this was my first time like working as a background designer. So it was really sweet that he helped like guide me a little bit, doing a little bit of mentorship before my testing happened. And then eventually I got the job there. So that's kind of how I like pivoted around.
Yeah. It's so fascinating that you ended up with that internship in recruiting. What
Yeah.
was that experience like?
It was really interesting because so when I was doing the interviews, originally I was interviewing for a production assistant position for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show that they had. But unfortunately someone else got that role. But the interviewers had said they really liked their meeting with me. So they were trying to fit me wherever they could. And that's how I ended up getting an interview for the recruitment project production side. And so I got to talk with them and just learned everything. And that's how I ended up there, which I was like, I would have never thought I'd end up here. But it was a really interesting experience. I love just asking questions of kind of being like, how does this work? What are you looking for when you are hiring these artists? Because at school, they don't really tell us these things. I took one workshop at ArtCenter where they kind of go over like writing a resume and like writing a cover letter, but it's very general. It's not specific to an industry. It's just the general, like for all you artists, like here's what you should do. So I basically tried to get any information I could about like, what do you really look for in resumes? What do you really look for in cover letters? Like, do you like a little icon on there? Is it like eye capturing or should it be like very clean and simple? All these kinds of things. And just figuring out, I actually got to help them work on a database where I basically, anytime I got an email from a writer or an artist, I would put them into two categories of writer or artist. And then I would put all the information in. I'd put their names, I'd put like their emails, like their website, everything. So that way the recruiters would just have a thing to pull from in the event that they need to find the artist quickly. So it was a very fun experience to do all of that.
Yeah.
And then eventually I went back to Art Center and I would do little guest speaking talks and I would just tell them everything I learned. I'm like, here, take the information. You need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's a good segue because I was gonna ask, was your time interning as a recruiter partly what inspired you to go back to teaching at the art center?
Yeah. So I basically, when I would do those guest speaker talks, it was with an old teacher of mine who would just have me come by like about every term when he would have his guest speaking talks. And eventually he kind of asked me, he's like, do you want to teach a section of this class? And I was just like, are you sure? Because the class is like a painting based class or it's like a like a color and light class. And again, like I said, painting makes me a little nervous. So I was just kind of like, you think I could do that? And he was saying like he comes from a more graphic design realm and that he himself didn't really know how to teach for more of an animation leaning course, but you kind of learn as you go type thing. And so eventually I taught one of his sections while he was also teaching. And I basically took his slides and I would just tweak them here and there to kind of also work a little bit more for the animation industry of things that I had experienced in my job that I knew the art directors were looking for, or just like good practices to have that students wouldn't know unless they had those experiences. And then eventually he retired and I ended up taking on the class full time. So now in between like work and stuff, like at night, I teach over at ArtCenter. And so that's kind of how it came. And it's been about like 5 years now since I started doing that. And it's really rewarding. I really enjoy it. So when you were, Marvin, you were mentioning like the school years coming back, I'm like, I'm starting next week. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so quiet last week. I was just like, "No, why am I here?" But now there's life again in these hallowed halls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you typically like? What is your day to day like working with the students? Like, I'm so curious about that.
It's a lot of emails.
Oh no.
It's a lot of emails. I'm in an email job. Just checking in with students, getting referrals, setting up meetings. That's what a lot of my day is, and then secondary to that, it's a lot of programming. That's what I specialize in. Specialize in,
Mm,
like, creating mental health programming for students. Right now, I've got a super cool project that's, like, about to start, and I'm doing a student advisory board, and I'm
oh
so
wow.
excited. Reading through all the applications right now is dreadful because I can only pick 16.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
But it's really exciting. It's exciting to have those personal connections with students and to be able to support them day to day, and then to also do these, like, more systemic institutional impact projects where I'm, like, able to affect really change on
Yeah.
how we function as a school. That's my passion. It's my bread and butter.
That sounds so like validating and worthwhile as a job.
It is.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I got my first W-2 here from the university, and I don't know, it's just, like, suddenly, like, official. Like, "Oh, yeah, I'm employed here, and I do work."
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
That's so
anyways,
cool.
anyways.
To people in academia. You guys are doing good
Yes.
work, changing
Thank you.
lives.
Thank you.
I'm curious, you also sell your art. You were at Lightbox this past year. I just stopped by your booth because you were doing the collab with Lily
Yeah.
and Tato, 2 people we just spoke to in the past month.
Oh, yay.
They so what inspired you to start selling your art?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I started doing it in college. It was just when there was like CTN was the main like space to go to. Originally, I had just gone as an attendee, and I would see the tables, and I was like, "Oh, that seems so cool." And I have a friend, Chino, who I've like tabled with for probably the longest time. We kind of would table together with a couple of our other friends. I actually started out, now that I remember, I started out at like Anime Expo. That was
Mhm.
probably the first
Nice.
time I started selling my work. During college, a bunch of us would, we called it our sweatshop days, because we would have like, the
So
button
sweaty in
press.
there.
Manufacturing is not like the way it is today is not how it was before. And so we would be using the button press. We'd have like someone in charge of that. We'd have someone in charge of like printing out stickers, setting up files, cutting in the sticker machine, cutting out posters. Like, so we were all there like before Anime Expo time. And it was just more like for the love of like anime that we started and just like creating art together, and it was really fun because we were lucky enough that we could make a little row of our tables in the alley, so we could all just be near each other, so it made it more fun, um, since we could all be together. But yeah, that was, like, kind of how it started, and eventually, like, when I had gone to CTN, I saw it was a good way to kind of get my work out there and kind of network and also meet people. I got to meet a lot of, like, online friends through that back when Twitter was nicer and you could, like, make friends like that, and it's not as, like, soul-sucking as it is now.
Yeah.
So it was just really great. I got to meet up with, like, a lot of online friends there, and they've become really great friends to this day. And that just kinda keeps me going. Nowadays, what I try to sell is more of art that I really wanna make versus art that is meant to get me a job. So I've been recently
Mm.
trying to make more, like, handmade goods. I do a lot of ceramics on the side. So I go to, like, a little ceramic studio and I make more, like, handmade goods just to kind of make things that spark joy, give a little whimsy, that just make
Mhm.
me happy because work has become work. And so I need a different outlet that isn't being on a Cintiq to kind of make it worthwhile. So I like to go to those areas to kind of sell off my little guys and hopefully they find nice little homes and everything like that. But yeah, that's typically how it's gone. It's the pipeline from anime to handmade goods.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as a lover of little guys?
I am a lover of little guys. I think I don't know what to do with all of my little guys. I really like to collect them, but I still am learning how to style them. Styling is
Yeah.
definitely, like, the overwhelming part for me because 'cause I'll just put them places and I'm like, "Now it just looks kinda messy. It looks like an army."
Yeah,
Got it.
I relate to that. I have an army of little guys, but I love them.
Yes.
I see you have your for the viewers behind you, you have a beautiful shelf of little
Oh, yeah.
guys and
My little
things. You
guys.
have a Lily I also have a Lily
That
little
one's so
guy.
good. That's
Yeah.
is that one the hand-painted ones?
Yeah, this one she painted, like, a New Year's style, and it was, like, the only one
Oh.
she had, and I was like, Imma cop that."
You copped that, yeah. I missed out when she was doing the first set, like, the first launch of it because I was at my table and I didn't have time to, like, go, and she had, like, the little, like, girl character holding the guys, and I was like, "No, I missed out." So now I just kind of wait for her to make more so I can buy them again.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Yes.
Gotta keep collecting those little guys.
Yeah. I
Always.
have this one little guy that holds my Cintiq pen. He kinda, like, has
Oh,
this
it's
big mouth. It's like a little bunny that sits, and then he has this big old mouth, and then I can just, like, put my Cintiq pen.
it's, like, perfectly shaped.
Perfectly shaped.
Yeah, and I just have him on the side here holding my pen.
I did wanna ask, when did you start having bunnies as pets? I know this isn't career related, but I wanna know.
It's not career related, but during an interview, I did get asked about my bunnies. That's why I have that on my resume. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's just like a little icebreaker thing, you know? I've
Yeah.
had rabbits since I was in high school. I had a rabbit, his name was Fufu. I don't know if you know the nursery rhyme Little Bunny Fufu, but there's, like, just a cute little nursery rhyme, and so I got him in, like, downtown LA when I was 15, and
Mhm.
it was, like, not ethical at all. It was someone on the side of the street selling there were, like, stacks of little cages of bunnies
wow.
just in them, and he was, like, this big, like, kinda like a potato.
Mm.
You know, it's really small, and the seller was like, "It's a dwarf rabbit. This is as big as they're gonna get." Cut to, like, a couple years later when he's, like, almost the size of a chihuahua.
Oh my
He
god.
was, like, really big. But, yeah, he lived up to, like, 12 years or so. He lived a
Wow.
really long
Yeah.
time, and eventually he passed, and then when I moved to my new place, I got 2 bunnies because I only ever had 1 bunny the entire time, and that's eventually I learned that it's better to have, like, bonded pairs, so the next time I got rabbits, I was like, "I'm definitely gonna get 2 this time." So I got 2, their names are Almond and Oliver, and they are actually dwarf rabbits. Um, so they're definitely smaller. Sometimes I let them, like, run around like, when I'm working, I'll let them kind of run around the office space so they can roam a bit. I can't let them fully free roam because I have 3 other cats in a different
Mhm.
room. So I have to be mindful of them because I have one that likes to bop them on the head, and I have to be like, "Don't do that."
They're
It hurts.
babies.
Yeah, but, Almond, she's very feisty, so sometimes she, like, runs at them, and they get a little scared.
And then
Yeah.
they're just like,
Yeah, they're like, "No, no, no, I'm so sorry."
Bunny v. Kitty.
Yes.
"Wow."
Yeah, I
Now we
love
gotta
them.
hear about these cats, 3 cats. What are their
Yeah.
names?
I didn't fully think it out when I first did it because my husband, when he was in his own place, he had 1 cat. He has an orange cat. His name is Freehold. And,
Oh, that's a good
I
name.
grew up with a lot of dogs because my parents didn't allow pets in the house, besides my rabbit, who I kinda let squeeze through because he didn't get on the furniture or anything. But once they all kind of passed and I was moving into my new space, I was like, that in between of do I get a cat or do I get a dog? And eventually I decided on cats. And that was another thing where I was like, do I get one or do I get two? And originally I was going to get one, but they were a bonded pair with another cat. So I ended up getting the 2 of them. And within a year, my husband moved in with me and then I realized then that his cat was also coming, and so then we ended up with 3 cats in our house, and I was like, "Oh, if that were the case, maybe I should have found just 1 cat because now we have 3 cats running around," but they're all very sweet. Pinto is our resident bad boy. He likes to
Nice.
jump up on things that he shouldn't be jumping up on, but he's also the resident janitor, and he cleans up all the poop that Freehold doesn't cover.
Oh,
And
nice. He
then
flushes.
yes, he flushes.
Okay.
He sniffs and he's like, "You didn't cover," and he covers. He's really good about that. BB, unfortunately, his full name is Mungbean, but I call him BB. He also learned not to cover his poop, so Pinto does double time and
Dang.
covers it. He used to be really good about it, but then Freehold came into the picture and taught him bad ways, and so he learned too much from Freehold. And so but Pinto is a good boy. He may be very maniacal, but he at least pays his rent that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, BB, we call our little prince because he's like a smart little boy. If he were to he would be the one to go to college. He knows all the little tricks. He's such a good,
Mhm.
quiet little boy. He'll just sit there like a prince. He'll like lay down with his arms like crossed and he'll just be like rubbing his butts painting. He's so sweet. Um, and Freehold is just a silly little orange cat, 1 brain cell in there.
Yeah.
Loves food, doesn't like exercise, just flops around everywhere. But
Yeah.
he's really sweet too.
A real Garfield of a cat. Love to
Yeah.
hear it.
Orange cat brain cell, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Always meowing for food as if we didn't feed him already.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah.
My car is named BB for Blue Booger
yeah.
because my
Do
mom
you
looked at my car and was just like, "It looks like a booger."
do you have like a Honda Fit or something?
No, it's a Fiat 500, so it is also, like,
I have a
small.
Fiat.
OMG.
Mine is green and I call him Peter, like Peter Pan.
Aw,
That's cute.
Yeah.
so cute. Definitely not Blue Booger. Wow.
But no, yours is like the baby blue color then, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's a cute color. Why would she call that a booger?
I don't know. And I told her, like, "Mom, if your boogers look like this, very concerning, very
You gotta
Yeah.
check that
concerning."
See a
out.
doctor.
There
That's so
was,
funny.
one time when I was at Disney TV and in the parking lot, I kinda, like, parked my car, and then when I came out after the job was done, there was both a red car and a white car. They were both Fiats, and they were parked next to me, and it made the Italian flag.
Flag.
And I
It's
was
so
like, "This is
fitting for the
crazy."
Fiat.
I was like, "Did they do that on purpose?" Because they weren't there when I parked. So I'm like, how
Right.
did they just all decide, like, we're also gonna park here and make the Italian flag?
Well, they had to for legal reasons.
I
Yeah.
know, like, once a chance comes, I guess you can't pass it up. A little
Yeah,
It was
Italian flag
really
made out of
good.
Fiats.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't know if I'm misremembering, but Marv and I, we were with BB, the blue booger, and someone came up to us and was like, "Oh my gosh, are you Italian?" And we were like, "No." They're like, "Well, you're driving a Fiat." And I was like, I don't think that makes us Italian." but it
That's
was
not
a
how that works.
Was that in the Springs?
it was in Colorado, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just it really out of left field. I was like,
Yeah. Wow.
"No,
That's so
you're not
funny.
the nationality of the car you drive." It was really funny.
No. But hey, if I
Um,
were in Italy, the cars would be much cuter everywhere, not
yeah,
these behemoths of trucks that are on the road.
Mhm. Mhm.
truly,
I need more cute little guys as cars on the road.
Yes.
literally. I like driving Marv's car because then I can park it pretty bad, but be fine because it's so tiny.
Yeah, you can fit anywhere. I'm eventually gonna have to switch up my car because he's getting to that end point of his life, and I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh,
no.
I don't want another one.
Yeah,
I want
another
him."
Fiat.
No,
Another
that
tiny
would
car.
come with more repair issues.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that was a fun little break for our final question. We'll take it back to the heart of the show, but the last question is pretty simple. Do you have any advice for any other people out there who would love to be background artists or biz dev artists?
Oh, yeah. I think for the most part, it's definitely just practicing. It's like doing a lot of studies. That's what I do with my students. I just have them do a lot of studies from life, especially like just going out there and taking reference photos, or even just studying shows or movies that you like as starting points. When I had first started out with like trying to learn background design, because again, the school wasn't really teaching that specific section, I would watch shows that I like Steven Universe and Gravity Falls, and I would look at the actual artists that worked on them and kind of looked at their portfolio and saw how they worked to kind of get a sense of like how maybe they got hired on the project or even what they were interested in personally that wasn't related to work to kind of get a sense of what they were doing that could also influence their work. So a lot of that kind of research I think is really important when you're trying to develop your style and also like what is it that you actually like to do because you start to find out like maybe I don't like this. Maybe I want to pivot into this other thing, which I did also want to ask you about, Melissa, later. But it was just like cuz you going from gaming into production like into live action and like all that kind of stuff seems like such a difference in like
Mhm.
learning all of those other things. But back to this, yeah, basically just studies because you only know what you know. So as artists, they're always like, oh, we should be able to come up with things, but you can't really come up with something unless you've kind of lived that experience or gone out and looked at those things. Cause like anyone can draw a tree, but not but if you like go on those hikes and you go and study those trees and like look at the different types and apply different like shapes and stylings and meanings to like the emotion you want to bring out of like that said tree or any kind of piece you're making, it just makes it that much deeper and intrigues your audience that much more. When I was doing a lot of those painting studies, it was very scary. And what I tell a lot of my students is like, I try to make them not be me. So I'm like, just do it, just fail. Don't be afraid of failing. Like, I'm still learning that right now because, again, I didn't have someone telling me that in school. So I'm still trying to get through the whole failure to succeed part because I'm trying to get into more painting in my free time right now, both traditionally and digitally. And it's quite daunting.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of trying to get myself to mess up, not have it look good at first because I can only improve. So with students too or people interested in that field, it's very much a like a drive and a love for the craft, especially in our current times in the animation industry. It's really tough right now to find work. So it's really important that you find value in what it is you're making and just enjoying the work you're making, sans a job or anything like that, because it leads you towards a road of despair. So it's better to just kind of find the joy in what you're making. So a lot of practice is good, and going out there, just go out to like little coffee shop hangouts with friends, go out hiking with friends, and bring your sketchbooks and just do little sketches while you're out there, do little paintings while you're out there, and just kind of take reference photos, soak up the environment to know that you can eventually use that later on when you go to do your own work, kind of create what you enjoy creating. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great advice. It sounds like you're a much better teacher who doesn't tell your students there's openings at Starbucks.
Yeah. I really try not to do that because that
Yeah.
was traumatizing.
Yeah.
That's not positive way to teach.
Yeah, I try my best. I think sometimes I can come off a little stern to my students because I'm like, "You're paying so much money. I want you to succeed." But I also try to meet them where they are and, like, give them grace because in the industry, you do have jobs where people give you grace. I just want them to explore and not be afraid, so that way they can be
Yeah.
stronger and beefier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the embracing failure. I don't know if you've seen The Elephant yet on HBO Max. It's
No.
the Exquisite Corpse project that Adult Swim did with Rebecca Sugar, Jones Quarterly, Pendleton Ward, and the creator of Over the Garden Wall.
Oh.
They each did a part, so I think Pendleton did the head, Rebecca and Ian did the body, and then the last person did the, like, end of the short. And so in the, like, little interviews, Rebecca talks about it taught them to fail a lot and just embrace failure because they had no idea what the other people were doing.
Right.
So, like, that idea of it was very healthy because they're like, "I'm such a perfectionist, and it taught me not to be, because you just have
Yeah.
to embrace the art of it, the process,
Mhm.
without
Yeah.
worrying about it being perfect." So, yeah, that's a really good lesson you're sharing with your students.
Yeah.
Everyone should go watch The Elephant because it's really weird and beautiful.
I'm gonna go watch
Weird.
that. I did not know
Nice.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add that to my watch list for sure. The Pit, The Elephant.
Yeah,
Sounds
The
like a
Elephant's
perfect
only
night.
20 minutes. It's really good. Very weird. It's cool.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for chatting with us, Angie.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
I'm
Thank you.
glad. Yay. Do you feel less nervous?
Yes, definitely, like, got through it all after all the conversations that we had. It was just really great to, like, get to know you guys too a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, like, talk through things. I think definitely
Yeah.
after that first tough question, it helped me help ease me in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the goal usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for chatting, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day, evening.
Yes.
Mhm.
Enjoy the pit.
Enjoy the pit.
Yes.
That was our conversation with Angie.
So pleasant. So lovely. I love meeting another Fiat owner.
The Fiat community.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you, I have one of their stickers that I bought at Lightbox, and it says "Fan of Trash TV."
OMG. I'm also a fan of trash TV.
I haven't even put it anywhere because it's so good, and anyone needs a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah, that was so fun. They're so cool,
You know.
and people could just go and take a class with her and learn even more.
Yeah. Or you could listen to this episode a lot because it's for free and you don't have to
That's true, that's true.
you
Share
don't
with
have
your friends.
to go to school at the art center
Unless you want to. I'm saying, like,
unless you want to.
this
Yeah.
is the free course,
Yeah.
but you got a taste, and if you want the full platter, you gotta pay money.
Yeah. 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 Honestly, good for those students. Like, damn, wish I had that professor, you know?
Yeah. Learn a lot. Their art is so pretty. I was just
Mhm.
admiring all their background art, and I was just like, "I can't believe I'm gonna get to talk to this person today." Another
Yeah.
superstar. I say this every episode because it's true.
Yeah.
Another one of the most
Superstar.
superstar. I'm in a good mood. And I'm also hungry because we talked about food.
I'm also hungry, yeah. I had an apple before this.
I had lunch at like 11 AM, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
And for
It's
the
been a while.
listeners, it's almost 7 PM, so pretty hungry today. Well, thank you for podcasting with me.
Thank you for podcasting with me.
Eee. Please remember to like and comment, write us a review on Apple Podcasts, and Tell your friends to listen. Tell your professors to listen. Give them homework. Uno reverse.
Yeah. Like, people get to interview us on our podcast. You should be able to give homework to your professors.
Yeah. It's only fair.
It's only fair.
It's your right as a student, I think. And also, happy 420. It's when this
And
episode
happy
comes out.
420 Blaze It.
And if you're a cop, you legally have to tell us if you're listening.
Yeah.
Happy 420 to you too. Actually, ACAP. I hope you're having a terrible day. I'm pleasing it for you. Our cover art is by Les. Marv edits the episode. And remember,
There's
not
one
right
way
to feel like you're bad at school and decide that art is the way.
There's not one right way to follow the pipeline from selling merch at anime conventions to creating little guys to sell at different kinds of conventions.
And there's not one right way to adopt a bunny off the street. That was definitely not sketchy at all.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening.
Bye!
Bye!